Hello from Lee Anthony Davis here on my YouTube channel. A warm welcome. This video is for the answers to yesterday's questions. We're at the second part of the Super Doctor Who quiz. You need a pen and paper, obviously. Just to remind you, I'm doing this for the next three. This is two more days to go because we're coming up to part three at roughly about 9 o'clock, where I'll be doing another 20 questions. So anyway, have you got your pen and paper handy? I'll get started right away. So ready? Let's go. Right. Yesterday I basically gave you a question starting with this one. In which story can a poster of John Lennon be seen on a wall of a character who might have been played by Ringo Starr? The role ended up going to a different Liverpudlian. Do you know who they were? The answer is Revelation of the Daleks was the adventure, and believe it or not, Ringo Starr was on the shortlist for the DJ, but when it went eventually to Alexis Sale. Remember him from the Young Ones? So that's the answer. Right, moving on to question two. Which two Doctors, or what should I say, which two Doctor Who stories featured veterans of the Crimean War? And the answer was The Evil of the Daleks and Human Nature. Question three. In which story did the Doctor claim, possibly untruthfully, to have been wounded in the same war? And the answer is the Sea Devils. Question three, that was, sorry. Question four. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, a man named Ivan Petrov, who fought in the Crimean War, was mentioned in which story? And the answer is The War Games. Question five. The 20th century Doctor Who stories had 10 or more episodes. Which actor appeared in two of those stories? I'll repeat that again. The 20th century Doctor Who stories had 10 or more episodes. Which actor appeared in those stories? In two of those stories? The answer is James Bree. He appeared in War Games and Trial of a Time Lord. They both were 10 episodes long, if you recall. 1969 was the last adventure for Patrick Troughton in the War Games, and Trial of a Time Lord is also a 12-parter as well, broken up into 3 adventures. I think it's 3 adventures. It was 3 adventures and a final 2-parter, and they had a lot of trouble with that because by then Eric Saywood had walked out, and because he was mourning his friend and legendary Doctor Who writer Robert Holmes. Unfortunately, JNT and Eric Saywood went their separate ways, and it was left to Pip and Jane Baker to fill in the gaps. Anyway, so they're the 2 stories. It was James Bree appeared in the War Games and Trial of a Time Lord. Right, moving on to question 6. During the Dalek Master Plan, the TARDIS lands on a pitch at Lord's Cricket Ground, a scene remarkably similar to one found in which novel by a 1970s Doctor Who writer? And the answer is, would you believe it or not, he was showrunner for a bit. He wrote some stories as well for The Key to Time. His name, well, he's actually script editor. He wasn't showrunner. He was a script editor. And he wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I think you know who I mean. He wrote, it's called Life and Everything and the Universe. Life, Everything and the Universe by, you guessed it, Douglas Adams. Right, moving on to question 7. The War Games was in part a replacement for a serial bringing back which old enemy of the Doctor? The answer is the Yeti. Question 8. Several ideas were rejected for episodes 9 to 12 of the Trial of a Time Lord, including one whose author never wrote for Doctor Who but did write for Torchwood. Can you name that writer? The answer is P.J. Hammond. Right, question 9. Here we go. The Halloween Apocalypse is the first time Halloween has appeared in an episode titled Discounting Christmas Specials. Which other on-screen episode title has featured the same of a notable celebration day? Can you name it? Father's Day. Remember that one? I think that was 2005 Christopher Eccleston adventure. That's where Rose Tyler meets up with her dad, who he's meant to be dead, but she saves his life, and everything completely falls apart with time, and these creatures try to mend time, you know, those bat things. Anyway, that's the adventure. Right, question 10. We're halfway through this. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time is the latest of many Doctor Who episodes to have time in the title. The first two aired in the same month. Which month and year was that? And the answer was May 1965. They were called Dimensions of Time and the Death of Time. Okay? Right, we're halfway through. How are you doing? Are you proving to aspire to these questions, showing your knowledge and how clever you are, or are you struggling and you're failing to materialise on this quiz today? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, it's only a bit of fun, and I just want you to know that. So it doesn't matter whether you know knowledge. I'm no gatekeeper, as you know. I'm just a fan of the show. I just wanted to do this to thank all my subscribers that joined my channel, and I appreciate it very much, and I thought this is the best way to do it, you know. Anyway, getting back to the final 10 questions. So we're on question 11. I'll just finish this quick, just get myself in the mood. Nothing beats that last drag. You remember that? The mild cigar from Benson Hedges. It's a roll-up, actually. It's not a joint. Right, okay. Question 11. Let's get away from that complete lunacy of 2 seconds, and moving on to what you've come here for. Right, question 11. Here we go. Which Doctor from 1963 to 1989 run never appeared in a story with the word time in the title? And the answer is the second Doctor, believe it or not, Patrick Troughton. Right, question 12. Which Doctor from 2005 onwards, not including the War Doctor or the Fugitive Doctor, never appeared in a story with time in the title either? And the answer is, of course, Christopher Eccleston. Right, question 13. Remember, this is a 2-part question, so here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah. Village of the Angels is the first episode title to feature the word village. How many stories have the word town in the title? Are you ready? The answer is 2. Boomtown and a town called Mercy. Boomtown is obviously the Christopher Eccleston adventure, and a town called Mercy is the Matt Smith adventure. That's when that was about the Wild West, about that cyborg cowboy, you know. It wasn't my favourite. I just thought it was a bit cheesy, but never mind. And the second part to this question is how many have city in the title? How many Doctor Who adventures have city in the title? Believe it or not, there's only one, and that is called City of Death. That's the Tom Baker adventure. Remember that? It's probably one of his best adventures. That's when they went and shot for abroad. I think they did it in France. I think that's where it was. Most of the location was. So anyway, that's that. Moving on to question 14. You're going to love this one. Here we go. A huge array of monsters featured in flocks. That's the one that's recently been done in the modern Doctor Who's with Jodie Whittaker. But what I want to know is, in which previous stories have we seen the following combinations of monsters? And I'm going to read them out right away. The first one featured Daleks, Weeping Angels, Cybermen, and Sontarans. And the answer is Time of the Doctor. That's where they all appeared in. In the next one, Daleks, Cybermen, Autons, and Sontarans, they featured in the story The Pandorica Opens. Next up, one Dalek, one Yeti, and several Cybermen. They featured in The Five Doctors. That's a special celebrating the 20th anniversary in 1983 when you had Five Doctors, which included, obviously not William Hartnell, he passed away, but William Hondrell played him. I think his name was William Hondrell, I can't remember. And I do know that he never got paid. It's true that. And also Patrick Troughton appeared. Peter Davison was then the Doctor. And unfortunately, we didn't have Tom Baker. He refused to do it because he'd been recently just finished the show 2 years ago. And he felt that he was going to be typecast. He didn't want anything to do with Doctor Who at that particular time because he was doing other things at the time. So he was sort of distanced himself from it. But he did come back to the Longleat in 1983 with the rest of the Doctors and all the other companions. So he made his appearance, and it really cheered the fans up to know he was there. And also John Pertwee, of course, the late John Pertwee, the great late John Pertwee. He was there as well. So, so anyway, the answer to that was... sorry, I've just said that as an I. The Five Doctors. Now, for the next one, one Dalek, one Weeping Angel, and a Cyberman. That they appeared in a story called Hell Bent. That was the Peter Capaldi story. And of course, the final one Sontaran, one Silurian, one Silurian. I can never pronounce that one. It catches me out. One Silurian. That's it. One Silurian. So I'll say that again. One Sontaran, one Silurian, and several Cybermen. They all appeared in A Good Man Goes to War. Okay, so that's the end of that section. Moving on to question 15. Every episode of season 24 received an extended edit for its Blu-ray release, but which one ended up being the longest? And the answer was Delta and the Bannerman, the first episode, and it lasted 29 minutes and 52 seconds. In other words, it went over budget. And I believe they only made 3 episodes, but maybe that's why they only did 3. They didn't do 4, as they previously did in the in Davidson's era. I think, and of course Colin Baker's era. I think Baker they did 45 minutes, and Peter Davison did 4-parters, but they did one on Monday and Tuesday and then they did it the next week as well. So they showed the whole thing in 2 parts. But it wasn't. Tom Baker's adventure was shown once a week. That's how it was done. So it started to get shorter and shorter, didn't it? Anyway, never mind. So that's the answer. Delta and the Bannerman Part 1. That was the longest one. As far as I know, I'm not. Like I said, I'm no gatekeeper. I'm just going on research I did for some of these questions. I had to. Right, question 16. Here we go. 3 incomplete Doctor Who stories had their missing episodes animated, and a character from one of them popped up in a newly recreated background of another. Which one of the Big Finish? That's it. Which one? Sorry, which one? Which one was it? The answer is Marga. That's Maaga from Galaxy 4. If you remember that, if you've ever watched it, I think you can watch it on an animated version of the Doctor Who adventure. turned up on a fly poster in episode 1 of Evil the Daleks, which unfortunately is no longer existing because the BBC in their wisdom threw it all away. And luckily, a lot of people went and rooted in their bins and collected some stuff that was still safe. The rest of it got burnt or trashed or whatever. But unfortunately, that episode does not survive. I hope they create the animated Evil the Daleks. Well, the Evil the Daleks in an animation version, because I'd love to see that, like many of us would, you know. So that's the answer. It was Margot Galaxy 4 who turned up on a fly poster in episode 1 of Evil the Daleks. Right, okay, moving on to question 17. Here we go. Big Finish brought its monthly range to an end after more than 2 decades. What number was on the final release? And if you got 275, you are a genius, because I had to do research on that one. I didn't know the answer, so I'll be honest with you. Yes, the answer is 275. Congratulations if you got it right. Right, where are we? Question 18. Which former companion has appeared alongside 4 different Doctors in comics this year? And the answer is Rose Tyler. Okay? And 2 more to go. Question 19. Which actor who played a companion in the 20th century Doctor Who read the audio book of a Target novelisation of a story from the 21st century? And the answer was Sophie Aldred. Sophie Aldred. And finally, we reached the last of these questions. And this is who said. Which actor said this? Are you ready? The Candyman still gives me nightmares. I can hear his voice so clearly in my head. Who said it? And the answer is Jacob Anderson. And if you don't know who Jacob Anderson is, but I'm sure you do, he is known as Grey Worm from Games of Thrones, and he actually quoted that. So anyway, that's the end of the quiz answers for yesterday's quiz. I hope you did well. You probably did better than I did. So anyway, I'll be back at 9 o'clock for the 3rd part of my Super Doctor Who quiz on YouTube at 9 o'clock, as I said. So join me for that, and I appreciate you giving your time to watching this video, and I'll see you then. Until then, good night, or shall I say au revoir, or shall I say, let's not say goodbye, let's say bonjour. Or shall I say au revoir, who cares? I'll see you later, bye for now.